Hello folks, I'm going to show you how to make a presentation that is facing pages, which is what this one is right now. Notice how the right page is over to the side, and then we've got this last page is down at the bottom. So some of this will be review. I want to make sure that I reinforce everything that you've already learned, but with InDesign you can create stacked pages, or you can create what's called facing pages. So essentially, if you open the pages menu, you can see here that there's this spine. It's like if you open up a book or a magazine, there's that seam down the middle. You start with the cover of the book, the cover of the magazine. That's just one page on the right. You open it up and you can see a spread. So that's what we're going to be working on. So when you go to create a new document, so I'm going to go up to File. I need to see if I can move the window up here a little bit so you can see what I've got going on. Doing a little reconstruction in the layout. Oh, shoot, it's not showing me the top navigation bar. Let me move up again. Okay, hopefully you can see it, but you can't see the bottom one. So we'll be going back and forth. Let me make one more adjustment. There we go. Okay. Nope, now you can't see the top. All right. I'll just move back and forth. So now you can see I have got my InDesign file here. If I go to File, create a new document, we're going to, for this project, it's going to be a print document. Because I like you to have a sense of size in your hands, and so we're going to be using a tabloid size, which is 11 by 17. We're going to switch it from picas to inches, so 11 by 17. We're going to have it horizontal. Generally, presentations are horizontal. You can make it vertically if you want, and you talk to me about it to make sure it makes sense for your project. And we're going to use facing pages. So facing pages is how you get that spine in your document. So make sure that's clicked. We are going to make this particular one, well, for this presentation it's going to be 6, but always look at the instructions for the assignment to verify exactly what you'll be doing for that assignment. And we're going to be starting with page number 1. And we are going to have our page is going to have one column, because I want to remind you how to do it with using a different trick. And we are going to make our margins. So if you think about a book, you might have wider margins on the outside than you have on the inside. So if you make sure that the margins are broken here, you can make different margins. So I'm going to make the top one 0.5. I'm going to make the bottom one 0.75. Generally, we like a little bit more space at the bottom, but that's variable depending on what you're doing. The inside, I think I'm going to make it 0.5, half an inch, and the outside, I'm going to make it 0.75, which would be 3/4 of an inch. So now what a bleed is if you have an image that goes off the page, that's when you create a bleed. So I am going to move my picture out of the way here, and I am going to create a bleed is typically on each side, it's 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.25, and that should be equal in all dimensions, okay? A slug is something, it's special instructions that you add at the end if you're going to have something printed. I don't imagine that you're going to have to worry about that, but it's good that you know that it exists. So I am going to move this screen down here again so you can see the bottom of my screen, and I am going to say create. And so here is my document. I'm going to zoom out, and you can see my margins on the inside are smaller than my margins on the outside. Okay, and in this, my picture down here, you can see that I've got my front cover, 2 spreads, and a back cover. So the way I like to teach you how to create a grid is to use text frame options, because it gives you a grid that's both horizontal and vertical. So first thing I want to show you though, up here we have pages. We have parent pages, so you might not see it right away. You might have to scroll down. So what you want to have are these parent pages, and you can go up here to manage. So this is in the hamburger. You can manage your parent pages. You can create a new parent, different things like this. So I am going to create a new parent. In other videos, I may refer to it as master pages. So it's the title of what this function has been called has been changed from master to parent. So what a parent page is, it's something that can appear on every single page. So one thing that we're going to start with is a page number. Okay, so there's a left side and a right side. I'm going to click on the left side here, and notice it's just showing me 2 pages. I also want you to notice down here on the left side, it's showing me a parent. If I was to click back on this 2 page, it's showing me page 2. So this down here always shows me which page I'm on. And I want to highlight that because if I click and put my cursor on page 3, I did not double click, I just clicked once. So this page still says 2. If I double click, then, nope, it's not even working now. There, I double clicked and I made it go to 4. Double click. It's only giving me the left side because I'm on spreads, sorry. So anyway, this is bringing me to 4 if I double click. So the reason I want to emphasize this is if I put my cursor up here in parent page, I'm still on page 4. I need to double click to bring the parent page up here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to zoom in by hitting Command plus. I'm going to go over here to the lower left side because this is where I want to put my page number. So I am going to go and move this box in here so you can see everything. I'm doing a lot of rearranging here today. So here we go. So I am going to get a text box. I've got my T tool here. I'm going to click and pull to create this. And so I have this cursor in this text tool here. So I am going to go up. I'm moving you up again here. Up here, I want to go to type. I want to go to insert special character. I want to go to markers, and I want to create current page number. You may want to copy this all down, put it on hold and say insert special characters, markers, current page number. So when I click this and let it go, notice there's an A in here. That A is because I'm on parent A, okay? And so I'm going to take this A and it's going to end up being my page number. So I want to not have my page number be 12 points. I'm going to make it 10. Whatever font you're going to be working with on your project, I like to work with Din and Garamond. Garamond is a serif font. It's got the little feet, and Din does not have any little feet. It's a sans serif, and it's actually the typeface that's used on street signs. But I do like it. It's a nice clean font. So I am going to pull this away from that border over there and, margin. And I've got this page number here. I've got it flush left. I am going to take that and I'm going to do Command C to copy it. And I am going to move over to the right side of my parent page. I'm going to go Command V to paste it. And I am going to line it on this corner. And I'm aligning it with the far right margin. So, you know, very often books and magazines, the page number is on the outside corner. So if I unclick, you can see here it's got the A again because I'm on the master parent page A. See, I almost slipped and said master page, but it's not flush right. So I'm going to go and take my text tool. I'm going to select that A. And so here's where you can create text that's flush left or flush right. So when I touch the text tool, I get my responsive bar showing up, and I can see way over here, depending on how wide your screen is, it shows up. I can also click from, here's the A that shows all the text things, and then the paragraph down here has more features, because with this, when we're working with type, there's a lot of different responsive features, and they don't all show up at once. So sometimes you have to click on the paragraph, which showed you extra features, although you can see flush left and right and justified and all that is showing up in both of these, but some other features that we'll talk about in a little bit only show up when I hit the paragraph. So you're toggling back and forth. So now I've got this A on this corner and over here on this corner. I'm going to just do a quick giant. I'm going to do this again. I've got the, going to go to Type, Insert Special Characters, Markers, Current Page Number, and I've got the A. I'm going to make it giant for right now because I want you to put your eye over on the pages on the right, and when I make this, I'm going to make it bigger than 48. Let me make it 72. Actually, just let me select that, and I'm going to make it 300. So notice over here on the right, so you can notice I can put in any number there. This A is showing up as the page number for each one of these pages. So it says page 2, 3, and 4, and it's showing on the parent page as A. So if I copy this and I move over to this side of the page, click over here and move it over here, it's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what you have to do is you have to put the page number on both sides of a spread. Okay, so whatever's on the left side only shows on the left side of the page, and anything that you put on the right side only shows on the right side. Now, that's because sometimes you may want to have something, I've got the page number down at the bottom, I don't need the big ones, that only shows on one side. For example, you might want your title, so I'm going to put a title box in here, and I'm going to put my title of my project, and I am not going to use Minion Pro. I very much dislike it. I'm going to use DIN, so I can just type in DIN here, and then it brings me to type it again, and I can click down here to DIN. I can change it to a different size, and this will be my title. And so maybe I just want the title on the left side and I don't want it on the right, but maybe what I would like to have on the right side, just randomly, I'm not thinking that you would want this, but perhaps I just put a colored bar that's going to bleed off the page. So I'm going to show you, notice that there's this red line. That red line is our bleed. It when I set up the bleed, it created that line at 0.25, sorry, 125. And so anything I want to bleed off the page, I literally have to make it go off the page. So this box here, I'm going to fill it with a color here. Switch to fill, and if this ends up happening, you just have black and white. You can go to the hamburger. The hamburger always has lots of magical things if you are missing anything. And so say I want this purple bar going randomly from this part of the page. I have physically moved that box so that it goes off the page to the right, the red line. So just because you click the bleed, it doesn't necessarily make your image magically move off the page. You have to do it, but it's showing you the guideline to remind you to do it. So let me zoom out here now. So you can see my page has the title on one side and this bar on the next. So if I click on opening up my pages, you can see, barely here, but it's got a little purple bar on the right sides, and you can't totally see the title in there, but it is in there. So now I'm going to go to page 2, page 3, so you can see that that's showing up on all these pages. So you will decide how you want your layout to be, and you may be putting a title on project 1 on the left on the first spread, and project 2 on the spread on the second spread. That will be up to you, and you may not have something that's on the master page right there anyway. But what I want to show you is, now that I've put that in there, if I want to go change the type and I grab my text tool, I cannot get in there. It's not letting me get in there. Anything that is on that parent page is locked when you initially put it on there. And that's a way of you not having, like, I can't move this box around. It holds things in place so they don't get moved around. But you may need to override that because you want to change the title. Also, another thing you can do is on the master page, you may just put a guideline here that shows you where you want that title to be. Actually, maybe I want it to be a little lower. I'm going to put the baseline of my text on that line. And so now I can, oops, you notice the way the line, I drag that down right here, so it's just on this side of the page. If, while I'm moving this, if I go off the side of the page, it now goes all the way across the page. So if you drag down a guide and you're just holding it on one page, it just goes on that one page, left or right. But if you pull it all the way off, it goes all the way off the page. I wish this worked for vertical to do from page to page, but it only works on the horizontal lines. So I've got this going across the whole page now. I have the word title here because there's another thing I want to leave it here because I want to show you something. I have this word here. I am going to go to page 2 and I can't move it. So while I'm on page 2, I can go up here to my hamburger. Okay, sorry. I'm going to go up here to my hamburger, and there are a lot of different things that I can do here. I can duplicate a page, move page, delete a page. There's different things, but what I want to show you right now is override all parent page items. So I can override that. And so now when I go here, it lets me move that around. Okay. Over here, it's not letting me move it on this box because I only did it to page number 2. I was only on page number 2 when I did this. So if I want to change the title on page number 4, I can click on page number 4. But what I could do is click 4, 5, and 6 at the same time, go up here and say override all parent items. So now it will let me move it on these pages as well, but it also has me, this here. So if I do want to lock that, I could go back up here too, and I can go to object and lock objects. Okay. And if you lock an object and you want to unlock an object, so lock, and then it's locked, and then I can go back up here and unlock all on spread. Okay, so going back to the parent pages, so I've been switching back and forth between the parent pages and the individual pages, and you can see I'm clicked here, but I'm going to double click, make sure I just double click to get both the parent pages, and if I were to move the screen down at the bottom, you would be able to see that it is parent page. I'm going to not keep going back and forth up here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to review how I like to put down on my page guidelines using a text box that I am going to drag across here, and I am then going to go up to Object, Text Frame Options. This should be a repeat of what we've been doing. I'm going to make it say 6 columns, and always change your gutter to be at least 0.25. The standard is too small. And I'm going to say OK. So now it has given me these equal columns. Now you do not need to have your columns set up at the top. You can, but you may want to keep this visual line across your whole layout because you're going to have a title. Likely you're going to have a title up here. So I'm going to pick some spot, and I like to just make it correlate with what's going on here to, something that's inches and not just have it be random. So anyway, I've got my text frame options again. So I'm going to copy this, paste it, move it over to the other side. Whatever I do on the parent page on the left, I need to do on the right, so it happens on both pages. And then I'm going to copy and paste this again. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and shrink it down. I'm holding down the Shift key because I want to rotate it, and I shrunk it down because it makes it easier to rotate. And then I would align it in my guidelines here. I could actually go all the way up if I wanted to, but really I want it to be proportionally where I'm going to keep this, river of space across the top here. Now, this has, I may want to have fewer grid lines in there. Oops. So I can, if I want to change that, I can go to again, up to text frame options, and I can change it from 6 to 5. So I can say, okay, so it's got a wider grid, and I want to, so that's good. So now what I have on the left, I'm going to copy that, paste it, and move it over to the right. So now when I go click on page 2, if I try to move these, it's letting me move the title, but it's not letting me move these boxes because I moved those boxes. I added those boxes to the parent page after I did the override. Okay, so I did the override first of the things that I did want to be flexible with, and then I put in these text frame, this grid system here after, because I do want those to stay in place. If you do in a different order or whatever, you can always go back up here and you can select something, or you can select it on here and you can say lock. Anything you want to do, lock, and you can unlock it, as I just showed you. So now I have this grid on all of these pages. So I'm going to start placing stuff in here. So our first page is going to be your title page. It'll be on the front. Here's your first spread, and here's your last page. So your title page should be introducing your project, and your last page, I want you to have your contact information. So I'm going to say contact, and you will, except it's going to be designed and spelled correctly, and you're going to have your information, because that's always a nice way to end with the presentation. All right, I've just shown you this great work. We're going to want to seal the deal. You're going to want to contact me, and so here's how you can reach me. And you can put